Hello and welcome to Traffic Paradise Radio. I'm Uno, and joining me today is Immy, finally back from her
Hi.
adventures. So excited to have you back. And the show's running on Immy's computer now with Immy's English internet, so no issues. Great. I mean, I might still cut out, but she can handle things from there, and then we won't have problems. So
And as you
miracles.
said that, your entire image froze for like 5 seconds. So
Brilliant, brilliant.
living
Here
up
we
to
go.
it.
Okay. So yeah, welcome back, Immy. Hello Loka, hello Caitlin in the chat. Caitlin, don't be so depresso. You're here with Traffic Paradiso. Yay. Be excited. I know the race was terrible, but Hungary's up next, and it's my favorite race. So I'm looking forward to that. Welcome as well to Loka. Nice to see you back again. Thank you for joining us. So, Immy, did you like the race?
See, this was like a Monaco 2024 for me, where the race was actually so boring, but I was spending the whole time stopping my body from having a heart attack and calculating like gaps and time per second and if the strategy was going to work because of my personal investments that I actually didn't realize how boring the race was until it had finished. I was like, oh, nothing did really happen.
Yeah, they were there were very few passes in the top 10. There was quite a lot of action going on at the back, like Antonelli and Alonso and all of them, but they were fighting for P15 or whatever. It was
And the
impressive.
broadcast especially does not care about what happens at the back. So I bet we didn't even see any of that really.
I mean, we saw a lot of the Pierre Gasly train, which was very frustrating. As a Yuki fan, I was like, "Can you move?" But yeah, Monaco
Luca
without the
says,
wall.
yeah, Monaco without walls, which is, yeah, it really did turn out that way. I wonder, I don't know. I just can't wait for the new regs because I feel like you can't. And I understand especially why we were a lot more cautious with the wet weather here than we would be at we raced in worse in Silverstone, but there's different circumstances. But still,
Mm,
these cars just cannot race in the wet really at all, the ground
yeah.
effect. So it just I can't wait for 2026 just for that, just at least to have more opportunity to wet weather race and not have to wait around for over an hour.
Yeah, it used to be I remember it was a 2009 season when the race in, I want to say it was in Malaysia, was red flagged due to a rain, but it was a literal monsoon. It was crazy rain you'd never seen before, and the drivers were like, we can't do this, it's too dangerous. And I remember that was the first time I remember seeing a race with half points awarded. Everyone got
Ooh.
half points because the race didn't finish, or 2/3 points, or 3/4 points, whatever it was at the time. I can't remember. And I remember just being, it was so intense that they had to stop it. And it just feels like we're so far removed from that now, now it's just zero risk. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I saw Lando
I'd
Norris's
rather
mother
there
more than I saw Liam Lawson.
I'd rather there be less risk than more, but I mean, Brazil last year, I feel like they took too long to do anything about it. And then now they just didn't. It affected people who went for a wet weather setup knowing that it was going to be wet and then not really racing in the wet at all. I think Max had a wet weather setup. Um and he just, it didn't benefit him at all like he hoped it would have because we basically we didn't have wet tires on the entire time apart from the formation lap.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that same issue happened with Yuki in a way, because I know his wing was set up for wet weather racing, and I think that affected why he couldn't get past Pierre Gasly. Because Yuki was actually a lot faster than Gasly, but just when he was stuck behind Gasly, he couldn't do anything. And I think it's also got to do with dirty air and everything. But yeah, it was just as Caitlin said, staring at the 0.7 gap from Yuki to Pierre for 35 minutes until right at the end he just dropped 2 places in like a lap or something to both was it Behrman and Hulkenberg in like one lap. He just gone. So yeah, that was just
Yeah, I mean, I
unfortunate.
think I don't know if you felt this way, but at the start of the year, I was kind of thinking, why do we need new regs when everything's so close and it's interesting? It obviously isn't really that way. That was more 2024, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
was like, this is great. Why do we need to change this? But this is why we need to change this. This is why we need new regs. We need to get rid of the ground effect. It just, the dirty air, everything, all of the spray, you just can't have really any good racing in conditions that aren't perfect. And even then, it's sort of here and there. You're not always getting great racing. Um, and so there might be a large disparity between teams next year, but at least there's just more opportunity and the cars will be smaller. And I'm excited. And we're halfway there pretty much, which is kind of scary to think about how quickly this season is going.
Yeah. What is it? It's 11 races left, I think.
Yeah,
I want to say 11 races.
it is 11.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see how it goes. Loka, yeah, we're going to talk about Yuki's unlucky strategy in a while. And also, Loka saying Hamilton jumped up from 13th to 7th by pitting 1 lap earlier. Yeah. So I was actually quite impressed by that. But let's maybe take a look at the finishing position so we can talk about that a bit. So we had obviously Immy's fave won the race, and we'll talk about that a bit sooner. So Oscar and Lando we'll chat about in a bit. Charles, I thought did a decent effort. He had no answer to the McLarens, but he was the best of the rest other than the McLarens, and that's sort of all you can really hope for this season. So he did well, I thought.
He
Verstappen, I
definitely
also thought,
maximized his weekend.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And I thought that Max did okay. Like, I don't think Max did badly, but yeah, just the setup wasn't on his side. And I thought, you know what, he finished like 1.5 seconds about behind Charles. That's decent. And then George sort of quite a huge chunk behind them. What's like almost 15 seconds behind.
There's been quite a downturn in the form of the Mercedes, which is interesting to see. Because I remember if we go back even a couple races, I was still thinking George really sort of has a chance at being a dark horse here with his consistency. And now it's just like the Mercedes, and also maybe why we're seeing less from Kimi is that the Mercedes itself is getting worse. It's not the car it was at the start of the year. And so we're seeing it be harder for Kimi and George to control it and to get good qualifying positions and to get good points positions, and really just I don't know what they've done to it. Like, I don't know how we've ended up here, because they had pretty much the second fastest car, I want to say, at the start of the year.
Yeah, no, definitely. They were like, George was like always fighting for podiums.
Yeah.
And to be half a second off of the winner, half a minute off of P2 and 15 seconds off of like the podium, that's not great.
Yeah, it's just I just don't know what they've done, because they really sort of, I couldn't say it now, but if there had been any sort of downturn, any places where McLaren wasn't as performable, then George really had a chance. And now it's all like, there's no chance anymore.
Yeah.
The car is gone. Alex, I don't want to discredit Alex, and I think you want to talk about him later, but a Mercedes being outqualified by a Williams, we've seen it before at Spa, but it says something. Both Mercedes being outqualified by Williams.
Yeah, definitely. So let's also just talk about Lewis. I know Loka brought him up earlier. He had, I thought, probably one of the better races of the day. But I think if you look back at his entire weekend, a lot of mistakes on Saturday, but Sunday he kind of really put it back together. So I can't say that he was the best of the weekend, but I thought he definitely, like on the Sunday, I thought he raced incredibly well. He was brave to go onto the tires when he did, to go onto off of the inters. I think he put on a pair of set of mediums, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he was flying, even before he pitted, he was flying and he was doing great overtakes and really sort of pushing the limits of what was doable on that track. So I thought he did a fantastic job. But yeah, maybe you want to chat about the guys behind him, or you want to chat about Lewis a little bit?
I think for Lewis, definitely with him and the Ferrari sort of strategy crew, I don't know whose call it was more for the pitting earlier, but it was definitely the right thing to do. And that he made a lot of amazing overtakes, but that pit strategy was probably the thing that helped him the most. Just being able to get that sort of undercut on all the cars that were still on inters was great for him, very beneficial. Good points for Gabby again. So I'm happy for him. He is up to 6 points now, and it's just showing that even, I mean, the Sauber's a lot better than it was at the start of the year for to start off with, but he is showing that he can compete with Nico. I think he outqualified him both times this weekend, and Nico is sort of known to be a good qualifier, and he's known to be very consistent. And I don't think in a case with Gabby and Nico, you wouldn't wish any ill will on Gabby if he wasn't outperforming Nico, because Nico has so much experience in Formula One that it's like,
Mm.
oh, it makes sense. Gabby's a rookie. We wouldn't expect him to do that. But the fact that he is says a lot. And I feel like being in this Sauber is sort of undermining his talent because it is such like a sort of backmarker car. Of course, I don't know if I'd say that he'd get the podium in Silverstone that Nico got, but he's still showing that he can perform in it and he can outperform Nico, which is definitely good for him. And I think he's got a multi-year contract, so not like he has any worries there yet, but it's something that other teams will be looking at.
Yeah. I want to touch on the Nico thing because I thought something very bizarre happened. Nico pitted when he was in P10. Gasly
Mm-hmm.
was miles away from him, basically running
I
the same strategy. And I couldn't
I think
understand
his
why
tires fell
Nico
off.
didn't just try and hang on to, like, I know his tires were old, but like everyone's tires were old, you know?
I wonder. I don't feel like you'd pit out of that position if it was a points position unless you really had to. So maybe for them, it was sort of like maybe the Sauber isn't as good as looking after its tires as say the Alpine is.
But
Maybe
Gabby was
Nico.
fine, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Like
Maybe
that
Nico made a mistake
Bortoleto
somewhere.
was fine. He had the same strategy, you know. Like that's what
I
I found it odd. Like I'm sure
yeah.
they did, but like I just feel
I
like
feel
you would have
like
just kept
something
going.
must have happened. Something must
Yeah.
have happened because you don't just give up that points position. Like
Mm.
the in this case, the risk reward of doing a two stop was not worth it because you have to go into the pits, you have to do the stop, you have to pray it's a clean one, you have to have a good outlap. Like it's just not worth it. So
Yeah.
especially that late in the race. Like
Yeah.
you weren't getting back up to the points even with a tire differential. It's probably how he got past Yuki though.
No, definitely. I mean, those new tires definitely helped him, but like, I mean, okay, great, you got P12. You know, like that's nothing. You don't get anything for P12. You know, so yeah, I thought it was a bit odd,
Yeah.
especially considering what Gasly was able to do, like with that similar thing. You know, because Hulkenberg pitted, Gasly inherited P10, and just I don't know if that Alpine is like 5 times wider than every other car or what the issue was, but like no one could like get past him. And there was just, I think at one point it was Gasly, Tsunoda, Behrman, Stroll, Antonelli, or Fernando, and then Antonelli, or like there was just this whole train of like 5 cars behind Gasly, and just no one could do anything, and everyone was just stuck there.
It's the circuit-specific extra wide upgrades.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, let's chat about the people who did. I mean, we have a little bit, but let's chat about the people who didn't get points. So we had Ollie Behrman in P11. Not a great weekend for Haas. We had Esteban Ocon down in P15.
They did well
Another team
in the sprint, but I think they had a lot because they did so well in sprint qualifying. They had a lot more to optimize from the weekend. They could have gotten double points probably. So I don't know what happened to them in quali really, but they had the opportunity. I think there was some. I was seeing that there was some strategy issue with Esteban, and that's why he's so low. Probably something to do with pitting at some point, whenever.
I mean,
I was very focused on other things.
There was such a small window in which pitting was in which like a pit stop was viable in this race. It was literally 2 laps. There were 2 laps where if you put it in those 2 laps, you would be okay. If you didn't put in those 2 laps, you were screwed. And if you missed that, yeah, Ocon stayed out 1 extra lap like Tsunoda. There we go. Everyone who stayed out, except for Lando, I think finished out of the points. Like I think it's like that, basically, and that's crazy. So yeah, it was very unfortunate, but fortunately that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. Sure.
I thought also Aston Martin, very poor showing from them, nowhere in the race. Fernando did some cool overtakes. Lance did some nice overtakes, but like
they made some progress from what did they qualify? P19, P20.
Yeah, I mean it was bad.
And they brought so many upgrades this weekend. Why does this always happen? They like downgrade the car when they upgrade it.
I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully, I think maybe the car is just fundamentally flawed. It's kind of like how, even Newey, I know he's focused more on next year, but you can only do so much with something that's fundamentally flawed.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. But yeah. And then Kimi Antonelli, very sad race for him. And Carlos Sainz, just, dreadful for him. I know there were issues for him. I can't remember if it was strategy or there was something wrong with his car. I could argue that there was something wrong with his car, so I could get another point. But
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are taking these results to reflect bad on Kimi, and I honestly think the car, like I said, just is worse, and he's had a lot of bad luck. I really hope he can bounce back in Hungary because it is definitely affecting him, and I think more than that, when people like take clips of him maybe being a bit teary in an interview, because I don't know, he's a kid, he's the same age as me, right? Like, I don't know, if I was out in Q1 and then I had to go face the media in a Mercedes, I think I'd cry.
No.
Like, and they're like, oh, Toto should have put him in a Williams, whatever. Just no. Toto, don't know how I feel about him, but he knew Kimi was going to have a rookie season. This is a rookie season. That's fine. He's had a podium,
Yeah.
I don't know if you could expect more.
Kimi wouldn't be the first F1 driver to cry in front of the cameras, so I think it's got fuck all to do with his age. A lot of drivers have cried. It's not, it's a lot of emotions, a lot of high octane energy is being spent, and that's going to get to you in the end. Okay, and then I think just last 2 to talk about is Franco Colapinto. Nothing from him. Absolutely nothing. Isaac Hadjar, I still don't actually know what happened to Isaac, but
I think Isaac had a problem on the straights. He was like so much slower for some reason unknown to me. I don't know what the problem was, but he had an issue. Because genuinely, I saw he was P20 all of a sudden. I was like, what the hell happened to him? How did he end up there? But he had some sort of issue with the car. It was nothing he could do. It's really unfortunate. Franco, I don't know if you heard, but I swear at some point in the weekend, Ted Kravitz let out some sort of like Freudian slip where he was like, Franco is fighting for his career. Oh, his position this weekend. Like,
Yeah.
what? Um, I
Yeah, I
wouldn't
think
wish being an Alpine driver on anyone, to be honest.
yeah, I do wonder like what's gonna happen there. You know, he did so well at Williams, and I know he was a bit like crash happy at Williams, but he still like was able to bring home points. And
Yeah,
I
he had
feel
pace.
like the Alpine the Alpine's not as good as it was last year, but I think it's not as bad as the Williams was last year either. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he's definitely underperforming in that car. You know,
Yeah,
Gasly's able to do things with that car, and I would sort of say Gasly and Albon are like sort of on a par when it comes to their talent and skill. Not exactly similar, but you know, there's a similarity there. And when Franco was driving with Alex, he wasn't beating Alex, you know, but he was able to keep up with him, you know.
yeah.
And I just feel like that's not happening with Gasly at all.
I wonder if partially it's a car thing, like switching when you're a rookie, you've had so little experience, and then you've had all your experience in a Mercedes powered car, and the Williams is obviously fundamentally a bit different from the Alpine as well in chassis, etc. And then you're in the Alpine, you have the Renault engine. Maybe it's just not coming to him in the same way, but that also doesn't like spell anything good for him because part of being an F1 driver is being adaptable, and he's had more races than Jack now.
Yeah.
So Locus saying that Isaac had a power issue and he was unable to do anything as cars overtook him. So, yeah, unfortunate for Isaac, that's for sure, because he qualified well.
Not my Honda engine doing badly. I just feel dreadful about that. Anyway. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a look. Drivers' Championship. Not much difference, I don't think. Did anyone move, change?
Uh, Liam moved up past Fernando and Carlos, and I wonder if that's just by finishing position, I think, because they're all on 16 points.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, and then, yeah, that's it for the changes. Not a very changey weekend. You've still got um, Franco and Jack being friends in P20 and P21 with 0 points.
Hmm.
Fun for them. Somehow the Alpine second seat is the most cursed seat of the year. I feel like you'd argue with me on that, but I don't know. Leclerc is closing in on Russell. So that's good to know. That's ominous.
18 points
18
different.
point gap. 18
Yeah.
point gap there.
I always forget that you do the math on the side. I was like working it out in my head. I'm like, it's like carry the 7.
No, don't worry. I was sat down with a calculator yesterday. I'm doing it all for you.
Thank you.
And yeah, Alex is also closing in on Kimmy. Because
Ah,
it hasn't been the best run. Most of it not his fault, but it also hasn't been the best run for Alex. I think they both had 3 DNFs in like the last however many races.
yeah,
Mostly, I think all of Alex's were car related. Only 2 of Kimmy's were car related. Um, but yeah, it's very interesting. I want to see where that goes by the end of the season. Kimmy can pick up his form if the Williams can stop going kaput every other weekend. It's always that issue for some reason. The Williams can't have a season where they're not having DNF streaks. But
yeah. It is what it is. I'm glad that Ocon's holding on to his P10. I'm happy about that.
yeah,
Hulkenberg, yeah. So Ocon got points in the sprint, so he was able to sort of. What happened there? Hadjar got points in the sprint. Did he?
yeah,
Must have. Yeah.
one.
So yeah, I think that would have been. Yeah. I think Ocon's doing well. I'm like a low key Ocon fan, so
Me
not
too.
that low key, but like I really enjoy him, and I hope that
Hypey.
I like to see him doing well. So although Sunday wasn't great, at least he had a good Saturday for some of it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at the constructors' standings.
It's a boring one. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. McLaren obviously extend their lead.
Their gap is now more than the amount of points that Ferrari have. 2 Ferraris together wouldn't have more points than McLaren. So
Wow. Okay, well, that's lovely. So well done to McLaren, I guess. Yeah, and then still, what I think is interesting though is at this point in the year, last season, I feel like Alpine had like barely any points.
yeah,
Kick Sauber had barely any points.
they had none.
Yeah, they had 0 points. That's actually true. And so, like, this season, although, like, the McLarens are so dominant at the top, I feel like the midfield is actually quite interesting. You know,
There are
even
no backmarker
Alpine,
teams.
yeah, Alpine, if they had a repeat of Brazil, they would be ahead of Sauber, I think. 23 points. Yeah, they would. They would have a, if they could, you know, do another. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's what happened last year to jump them up
You know
into
what?
that position.
I would love it if there were no more wet races, please. We've had so many already, like back to back. I would really appreciate it if we were
Yeah.
done. I want a sunny Brazil. I want a sunny Brazil. I want no stress. It's just wet races are so great, but I swear to God, there have been so many already. I need to breathe.
Yeah. Fight for
Sorry,
sixth and
sorry,
maybe even
Alpine. I
fifth
don't.
is gonna be crazy. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, well let's move on to Alpine on the team who have scored the most points while being last in the constructors at this stage.
So even though it's somehow a really uncompetitive season, if you are an intellectual like us and you look at the midfield and find that interesting, it is a very, very, very interesting season. There is no team that is constantly at the back, even though Aston are don't know what they're doing now, but you know,
They're just waiting for next year.
yes, that's precisely what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on now to our Paradise and Purgatory of the week. This is the segment where we tell you who we thought was amazing and who we thought was rather shite. So, Immy, would you start us off with your Purgatory nomination candidate, whatever, for the week?
My purgatory is Lando. Now, it feels kind of harsh, but genuinely so little happened in that race that I just sort of had to go for the obvious. The pit stop that he had that was 3 point something seconds did not help him close down the gap. And I don't know how much he could have done, like turn one, turn two, to stop Oscar. He apparently had some battery deployment issues, but I'm pretty sure everyone did. It was something to do with the changing conditions. So partially slipstream, partially Oscar got a better exit, I think. That didn't help him. The pit stop didn't help him. And I don't want to, I feel like a lot of people are trying to sort of put heat on the pit crew. They're trying their hardest, but there has been a little bit of a consistent problem with the front left wheel for McLaren, for both drivers throughout the whole season. And I'm sure nobody's beating themselves up harder about it than the people who work on the front left wheel, right? But I just feel like that's something to think about, and hopefully something that by the end of the season they can figure it out and figure out what's going wrong and fix it, because they were so good at pit stops last year. I don't know what happened. I don't
Yeah.
think the team's changed. But for Lando, he was pushing really hard, right? I will say that he was pushing really hard, but he made 3 crucial mistakes. He went off once and he looked up twice, and that cost him pretty much the gap to Oscar at the end of the race. There was definitely an opportunity. The pit stop didn't help, but there was definitely an opportunity for him to catch up to Oscar. I don't know if he would have had time to pass him, but he would have definitely been able to catch up. And at that point, the tire differential would have been quite big. So I don't know if it would have been that hard. But to make those mistakes, it kind of sealed his fate a little bit. So yeah, that's all I really
Yeah.
have to say. It's 50 him, and then sort of a little bit on the team as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I was quite disappointed with him. I thought he did very well to, you know, get to where he was, and then
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
to
So
outqualify Oscar for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was also, he had the unfortunate thing of having to put after Oscar. They couldn't double stack them. Although I still
Um,
feel like,
I think the situation with the double stack was that Lando was so close. There was like a 1.5 second gap going into the pits that they physically, if Lando went in after Oscar, he'd lose so much time. So
yeah,
if
I still think he lost more time
oh
staying
yeah,
out. You know,
I
it's like,
he probably did for sure.
yeah,
But that I think is the pro of being first on the road. That's what you have to do. That's why
absolutely,
pole position is more important, and that's why then taking the lead, Upper Rouge is important, and that was definitely important for Oscar's Grace to get that pit priority, because that would
yeah,
have probably affected him in the same way had it been the other way around. Had Lando kept the lead.
absolutely, absolutely. Oscar would have been on the back foot trying to figure out like how am I going to get to the end, blah, blah, blah. But because he was in the front in clean air, he had that big time gap. He
Yeah,
had the benefit of just taking it easy, looking after his tires, bringing it home. He didn't have to stress about anything. Whereas Lando had to push, 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 and therefore made mistakes. So,
yeah.
yeah, position is king on the track. More so here than at other tracks, perhaps. Yeah. So, thank you, Emmy. Uh, my candidate for Purgatory is Woody. Boo! Look at Checo behind him, just judging him. He's not really looking at him, but the look of disgust on Checo's face is mirrored by many in the Yuki fandom today because I really feel like Woody had one job. Like, bro, you had one job. One job. All he had to do is say to Yuki, pit, before Yuki passed the pit entry. That's all he had to do. And he failed to do that. This is on a weekend where Red Bull were looking at their first double points in ages. A weekend where Red Bull had their first double Q3 in ages. A weekend where, yeah, Max wasn't going to be on the podium, but these extra points could have really helped because Mercedes weren't on the podium either. And by the time we get to the end of the season, let's say Yuki had finished in P7. That's 1, 2, 4. That's 6 points difference. That's huge. That's a big difference at the end of the season if things close up between Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes. And I really think that, look, maybe we're being a bit mean and it's not actually Woody's fault. Maybe someone didn't tell Woody with enough time, and maybe that's got to do with the the lack of focus that Red Bull has traditionally had on the second driver, not really giving too many shits about them. And I think maybe, I just feel like if you cared about Yuki as your driver, you would have been on top of that. Yuki asked, "Can I pit now?" There was enough time for him to pit. They didn't even have to double stack him with Max. There was enough of a gap between the two of them that could have come in, come out. They wouldn't have lost time. And because of that, they just, I don't know. It's so frustrating when Yuki finally has a good weekend and he doesn't put a foot wrong and his team just goes, well, yeah, like, it's like the most crucial part of the race is the pit stops. That's
Throws
all
a
you
bit of a
have to do.
throwback to V carb, right?
Yeah, totally. And like, I don't know what Lawrence going to do about this because now it is his problem that he has to deal with. I'm not saying they got to fire Woody, but like he needs to have a serious talk with him about where was your head, bro? What was happening? And whatever happened that caused that, Lawrence needs to be on top of that because, like, yeah, Yuki was already getting shit from like a certain section of someone's fans for having
Ooh,
a new
I wonder who.
floor. Because how dare Red Bull give Yuki a spare floor? Because like, oh, what's he gonna do with the new floor? Well, I mean, he's gonna qualify better. That's for one, And if his strategist doesn't fuck up, he's going to get points. That's another thing.
Well, hey,
It's just like,
at least he did qualify better. We
yeah,
can it sucked, but we can take from the weekend that he did nothing wrong and he actually had pace and he had sort of performance and he could have scored points and it feels like we're back in VCARB. Um, but what I do find refreshing is that afterwards in interviews, Laurent Mekies was very much like, this was a mistake. We are sorry to Yuki and we will
mm,
do something to fix it, which I think is very refreshing. Um, and hopefully he stays true to that word and we won't have this situation again. And I have some hope for Laurent. I think he's definitely much more behind Yuki than Christian ever was. Giving him that floor shows that. And
absolutely.
I
The
have
fact
hope.
that they have had this flaw and didn't give it to Yuki, even though he was struggling, and like Lauren comes in and is like, "Yeah, let's give it to Yuki," and people are like, "Oh, what?
It's
Like, are
really
you
like
sure?"
when Yuki crashed in Imola and he lost the upgrade he just got, everybody was like, that makes sense because he crashed and there won't always be spares and there should be sort of consequences for having a crash like that. But then Max, who isn't really that I don't see him crash that often, at least by accident. Um, but so why does he have a stockpile of spares? You know,
Yeah,
surely when if he crashes, if all these spares were being kept for a small possibility if he crashes, like let the consequences be there. Okay, he has to go back and upgrade set. That sucks. They'll have one
yeah, yeah,
ready
yeah.
soon.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
as he's not winning the championship, so what does it matter?
yeah,
You know,
it's
like
yeah, like
he's got his money. What does it matter? Just fucking,
they should be full focus on the constructors, and to win the constructors, you need to give the second driver the upgrades. This your second driver could be Max Verstappen's clone, but if he doesn't have the upgrades for their car, he's not going to get points. He's not going to score well. He's not going to
yeah,
qualify well because
yeah,
everybody has been upgrading their car. So if you're behind, it's like stupid.
yeah. So, um, for all those reasons, Lando Norris and Woody, or whoever the fuck was responsible for that dreadful call on the pit lane, um, for your sins on and off the track, you are sentenced to purgatory. May the gods of motorsport have mercy on your souls. But after sending those devilish candidates down to purgatory, we shall now uplift some candidates to paradise. So, Emmy, who is your paradise nominee of the week?
Hold your breath. I've gone for a real shocker here. You'll never guess who it is. It's Oscar Piastri. Wow. Now, this was a race of like troughs and hills for me, if that makes any sense. At first, I was like, oh my god, he's ahead. Then I was like, what the hell is this strategy gamble that's going on here? I really didn't think anyone was going to the end on mediums. You know, I was thinking, great, it's a two stop, and after the second stop, I'm going to be like living in doom watching him slowly trying to catch up to Lando. But he didn't stop again, thank God. And a lot of people went to the end on mediums, so it isn't like the most it wasn't like George Russell last year. I'm not gonna like try and compare those, even though that didn't end up panning out that well for him. But the feat was there. But to be able to be so consistently putting in the laps and managing his tires when you do have someone chasing you down, your direct rival chasing you down with tires 2 steps harder that are going to last for sure until the end. And if Oscar had made a single mistake, I mean, maybe he did, but they weren't shown on the broadcast. If Oscar had made a single mistake like Lando did, Lando could have been all over him. Those were the stakes. And so to be able to take those tires to the end consistently, no mistakes, just hold it all together and be calm, I think is really great. And you know what? He has completely obliterated the tire muncher allegations. No more. No more. He can manage a set of tires. That's all I have to say.
Thank you,
And I'm
Emmy.
happy. It's been a drought. It's been too long since Spain. I've been depressed. Silverstone
Yeah, no,
destroyed
he did.
me. It's my therapy session now.
I think that I'm glad you could get that off your chest. I think that he did very well to bring it home. He had to do a lot of time management. And as you say, like he had to keep super focused. If he had made one little mistake, it would have been a big opportunity for Lando to like take the lead. So yeah, he really had to just buckle in and get the job done, and he did that. And you know, I hope that Nicole Piastri was happy to see her son standing on the top step of the podium. I know she might have been wearing a Red Bull hat, but I'm sure she's still higher at heart. So
It
yeah.
was it
Oh,
was
that
actually
reminds me.
like
Caitlin said something about Yuki merch is finally available. So
yeah,
yay.
there was a picture of a bunch of stuff, a bunch of hats with 22s on them. It was really sweet though because his mum was there, his dad was there, and his granddad was there, and it's his favorite track. I almost cried, low key. Um,
Oh, very sweet.
so
Yeah.
retribution is what it is. It's like China all over again, and I'm no longer depressed. Just
Mm.
quickly, before your paradise, we have some suggestions from the chat, so I'm going to go through those. Um, Caitlin says Alex Albon for heaven,
What?
paradise heaven.
Really?
Loca says Charles Leclerc, 100% totally not biased, but also honestly, I'd go for Liam Lawson or Alex Albon. So there's a bit of agreement here. I also do think Charles did really well. He definitely
Yeah.
pushed the car to the maximum that it could have achieved and kind of underrated this weekend, probably. Bortolesso underrated as well, says Loca as well. And yeah, he definitely did an amazing job out qualifying Nico. Ooh, Caitlin says they made 22 t-shirts as well. So not specifically 22 of them, but yeah. Uno, you're in Japan.
Yeah, but I couldn't buy any.
You can buy any, and I'm not in Japan. Why are they only making them in Japan? God forbid Yuki has fans in other countries.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
Rats.
like yeah, I get the Charles call, even the Lawson call, the Bortoleto call. The Alex Albon call makes no sense to me. For Paradise, like who would put Alex Albon in Paradise? Oh wait, I would. Because Alex Albon is my Paradise candidate. Because I think he did a phenomenal job. He was the best midfielder in qualifying as well as in the race in terms of his finishing position. But on top of that, I think it is absolutely fantastic that he was able to keep Lewis Hamilton behind him for like a large part of that race. And it was just a stellar drive from Alex Albon. He is definitely my midfielder of the season. No question about it. Like it's not even close. He is just so good this season. And yeah, he might have a few shitty races here and there, usually down to his car not performing, I can't fault his season really. Like, I mean, maybe he's made one or two thingies that I'm not thinking about right now, but my goodness, this man is doing a phenomenal job. Really fantastic. And I think if Williams's sort of 2026 campaign is even close to being like as good as the other teams at the front, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of him up front, fighting for podiums, fighting for wins, dare I say. And yeah, so I'm thrilled with Alex. I thought he did great, and I'm very happy that I get to put him in paradise.
I want to witness an Alex Albon championship charge with my own eyes. I need to see that Williams be a good car. I want to see him fighting for a championship. He
Absolutely.
is so good, so good. And I look back with fond eyes to the start of the season when everybody was saying that Carlos Sainz was going to smoke him.
I never bought that. Not for a second. I was like, he's not.
Exactly.
I thought they
Exactly.
might. I thought they would be close. I'll be honest, I
Yeah.
thought they'd be a lot closer than they are.
Mm.
But I never for a second thought that like Alex was gonna like have his ass handed to him. Not a chance, bro.
Yeah, it was
Alex's
a
team.
lot of people. I think because Alex has not had anybody close, like with skill that we have seen from other cars, it's been people who have just come up into Williams and not done amazingly.
Mm,
Nobody's actually truly been able to rate him, and so he has been very, very underrated for years now. For years. And honestly, thank you so much, Carlos Sainz. Thank you for everybody finally understanding how good Alex Albon is. You're
yeah.
doing the most beautiful charity work. Keep it up, King. Don't get good.
Immy doing a little bit of like science. Yeah, just okay.
There's
Caitlin
no
says,
bias here, buddy.
sorry to be a Yuki fan here, but I can't help but think the excellent jobs Pierre and Alex are doing bode well for Yuki's future at a different team if he can get it. Absolutely. I think Alex and Pierre show that not only is there life after Red Bull, but Red Bull does not define who you are as a driver. Because that car, and look, I think Alex and Pierre, they were younger than Yuki is now when they were in that position. So I feel like they were. Yeah, they must have been. So I just feel like they are a testament to what can happen when you leave that stable. Now, look, that was the Red Bull under Horner. You know, things may very well change now. It does seem like there are changes coming for Red Bull. Long, it's been that we've been waiting way too long for them, but I think it is coming, and maybe that transition out of Red Bull into another team won't have to happen. But I am confident that like Yuki could hold his own in another team. I mean, we saw it with VCarb, when his strategy wasn't shite or his upgrades weren't shite, he was performing at the top levels and he was able to fight with even some of like the front running teams. So I just think that as you say, Caitlin, like it definitely Alex and Pierre's performances definitely bode well for what Yuki can accomplish. And when yeah, when Alex when Max can't even get onto the podium, you know, like clearly there are issues with the car, and I'm not expecting Laurent Merkis to come in and change that thing overnight. This is his first race, but even the little things that he did do made a big difference to at least level up one side of that garage. If the other side of the garage also can't get a podium, that's fine. If Max is no longer able to fight for those podiums and wins, it is what it is. But I do think that like their setup maybe hurt them a bit because they maybe aimed more for a wet weather setup. Max was very strong in the sprint, so it is what it is. But yeah, I just definitely bodes well for Yuki. But I'm not talking about Yuki now. I'm talking about Alex. And Alex, well done, bro. Brilliant, brilliant job. Yay. So, for all those reasons, Oscar Piastri and Alex Albon, for pleasing the gods of motorsport, you are granted entry into paradise. Ascend. Angelic music plays.
That was supposed to be a jazz hand, but it looks kind of more like a wave.
Okay, so now after looking at how brilliant those drivers were, we look at how shite we were and how bad we predicted this weekend. Some I think better than others, to be fair. I didn't do too badly, but yeah, I'm pretty close in fairness. But yeah, let's have a look there. Pole position. Lacey's the only one who got it right, and Lacey technically didn't predict that because we just used Lacey's predictions from the previous race. So
she's MIA, so
yeah.
rest in peace.
Yeah, but
No one
sometimes
had any belief in Lando.
I mean I did, but just to win it, not to get pole.
Oh.
So I just
You wanted to see, but see, there was some big brain action there. You were gunning for Lando to do what Max did in the sprint, right?
I could see things happening. I could see like a bit of a happening of some sort. And I did think it would come down to like more of like a pit strategy call. I didn't think it was necessarily going to be and in fairness, that's kind of what happened. It just happened the other way around. So yeah, it is.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, I think for Lando to get that pole, that was that can't be understated. That was really good for him, especially when Oscar dunked like almost 5 tenths on the rest of the field in the sprint quali. I didn't watch qualifying because I was too scared. Formula One hasn't been nice to me. I slept through it. I'm blaming jet lag. I specifically said I'm sleeping through this. I don't want to watch it.
Sorry, Formula One hasn't been nice to you. Your driver is leading the championship, Immy. Like, please.
Silverstone.
The
Sorry, Silverstone.
lead.
Silverstone. Every loss hurts more when there's a championship battle.
My goodness. My goodness. My
I'm
goodness.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Shocking. Okay. So, well done to Lacey. Terrible job to everyone else. Moving on. What did we predict for P3? Would you look at that? I almost went for Lewis, but I thought, no, let me put Charles there. And I'm so glad I did because
You were so happy about this 1 point.
I am happy. I am happy. I mean, yes, it is 1 point, but it's a point that I didn't have before, so I'm happy.
Okay.
Yeah. So P3.
Yeah, there were
point.
lots of max predictions, a couple Georges as well. I think we have to come to terms with the fact that the Mercedes has like fallen off a cliff. I don't know if we'll be seeing him on a podium for a while, to be honest. I'd see a Lewis podium before another George one.
Yeah, I think that's likely.
So
I think that's very likely. I think if Lewis had qualified differently, he could have easily fought for that podium. Yesterday. Yeah. Good call. Good call. Okay.
I'd love to see some wheel to wheel between Charles and Lewis. Like, bring that on. Let's have them fight for the last podium position, please.
Yeah, please.
Let's stop with the swap positions, swap positions, swap positions. Let's make it more interesting.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, so P2, what did we have? Dun, dun, dun,
wait, Lucas says I'm a Charles Leclerc fan and I watched this race after P14 last time out. I feel like only 2 people enjoyed Silverstone, to be honest. And Lando has more than 2 fans, actually, so Lando fans enjoyed Silverstone. Nico fans, he has 2 fans. They enjoyed Silverstone. Nobody else did.
Aren't his 2 fans his daughters?
Yeah, fucking probably.
His wife's like, eh. Okay, so moving on. P2. Kira, Lacey, Lee, and Willow couldn't have been further away. I was 1 step back, but Neve, Immy, and Tay did a great job and predicted Lando P2. Congratulations.
Woo. And whoa, would you look at that? P1.
Very impressive.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us got Oscar. And technically, Uno, you were the only one who was wrong here because Lacey didn't even predict.
Yeah. So yeah, I was wrong. But you know what? I'm okay with that because we have an extra special point here at Traffic Paradise Radio. If you guess the podium, the people standing on the podium correctly, but in the wrong order, you get another point. And I'm the only person who predicted all 3 people standing on that podium. So thank you very much. I will take my extra point.
Treasure it, truly. Enjoy it.
I mean, really, in this day and age, you just predict the 2 McLarens and pick one other Ferrari, Mercedes, or like. And you just,
we all did really badly in Canada, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but let's have a look. What were our wild card predictions?
Okay, I'm gonna pull up the Discord, but I think I've got a pretty good handle on it. So
I know, I remember them. If you want,
Neve predicted rain.
Yes.
At some point, we've got to ban the weather wild card, which I see. Uno, what have you predicted for your wild card?
My wild card was that a Mercedes-powered car would suffer from a mechanical failure.
And low-key, because you did that, that's why Isaac had issues, I think. The Mercedes was saying, no, your Honda engine is going to suffer instead.
Yeah,
because
we call that the Uno reverse card.
Yes, that's beautiful. I predicted, what was that? Red Bull double points. We were so close, yet so far.
Yeah.
so far. Kira
Crash at a Rouge.
predicted. Yeah, that's a gnarly one, eh?
Yeah.
There was no crash at a Rouge.
There was
Good.
no crash.
Oh, you're right, which is kind of mad.
Yeah.
All 20 finishes. It's been a while since we haven't had a single DNF.
Yeah.
Lee predicted Red Bull double Q3, so congratulations
That was
for that point.
her prediction from last week. She just carried over. She's like, I don't know what to say. Just use my prediction from last week for wildcard because she
Where
forgot
is
to put
the
in wildcard.
imagination in our crew? We're supposed to come up with interesting things to talk about. We cannot free recycling. This is what happens when I go on holiday.
Okay, so in that vein, you're no longer allowed to put Oscar as Paradise candidate.
No, I only do that when he does well. It's because I haven't been here since like a predictions episode.
Fair.
You would have seen me putting him in purgatory last week. So
yes, no, Immy was like telling us all in the Discord server, she's like, make sure you tell everyone how bad Oscar was. So yes, fair enough.
I was so depressed. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Tay predicted Isaac Hadjar, I want to say P6 or P8.
Was it that? No, it was top 8 in quali. So no. He was top 8. No, I don't think he was. No, he wasn't. It's fine.
I think it was just top 8, not top 8 in quali.
Isaac top 8 in quali is what it says.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I might have said that wrong on the predictions episode. Whoops. Okay.
Oh.
And then Lacey's was a rollover, basically from last race, saying that Ferrari wouldn't get any points. Considering Charles looked so sad in that picture, you couldn't have asked for a more different outcome because he was grinning on the podium.
And Willow predicted a rookie finishes in the top 5, which didn't happen.
That's why I was getting confused with Tay's one. Yeah, I remember someone was saying like a rookie would do very, very well, but it was that one. Yes.
I see.
Okay, so Immy, how has that affected our prediction? Okay, so just for those of you, because I like to say it whenever I can, this is the second annual Traffic Paradise Radio Prediction Competition Points Championship thing. And this is the second annual Traffic Paradise Radio Prediction Competition Points Championship thing prediction leaderboard. So, leading the second annual Traffic Paradise Radio Prediction Competition Points Championship thing is Immy with 25 points.
Yay! I'm getting caught up on though. It's not been going very well for me recently.
Yeah.
Neve has 23 points. I used to have like a 4-point lead. Where did that go?
Yeah, we're coming for you. We're coming for you. Everyone did actually decently this week, apart from Lacey. Everyone got points, which I think is we weren't that bad. Thankfully, we weren't that bad. So,
it went pretty well, I think. Oh, there's like a massive spider on my wall. Okay, it went pretty well. It's fearing for my life now. Uno is kind of catching up on Kira. You guys are level. How do you feel about that?
I feel like just like how the second half of the season is going to be phenomenal for one Yuki Tsunoda, it's going to be phenomenal for me as well. So, yes. Maybe not for next week. If you've seen my prediction for next week, it's very out there. But, well, at least one of them is. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes. However, I think that everyone has done a fantastic job. But Tay needs to have another couple weeks like she had this week. Because Tay is languishing down 7th place, even though she picked up 2 points this week. Oh, put Caitlin's comment up. Uno X Yuki. Let's go. Uno, 1 times Yuki, 22. 1 times 22 equals 22. There we go.
Well, Neve has just
Oh,
said, "I'm
you've jumped
coming
into
for
the chat
you,
to cut to like.
Immy." Not at all threatening or scary. I am so calm and zen about this. Just you wait. Just you wait. It's fine. Just you wait.
Yes, let's go. Okay, so other than that, I think is there anything else to talk about? Did you forget to put the thing in? Oh, you didn't forget to put the thing in. Yay. Okay, so
Don't doubt me.
I couldn't remember because when we went through the thing earlier, I didn't see it. That's why I was like
Yeah.
wondering.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so very cool. For those of you who follow the feeder series, especially if you're following British F4 or even F1 Academy, you know, Ella Lloyd, Neve joined at the greatest time. Ella Lloyd got a podium this weekend. Technically, finished second, but then got a penalty and dropped down to third. So, not the best possible outcome, but still a remarkable outcome. And we at the channel love to support women in motorsport. And we especially love to watch the people who don't support women in motorsport cry like little bitches when their men get beaten by a girl. So
Woo!
I'm very happy, and I, for one, think this is fantastic. What do you think, Immy?
I think it's just amazing. I would like to add this is an old photo because I couldn't find a new one, unfortunately. Heartbreaking in that respect. But
That's okay.
Neve has something to add. She also only started racing a couple of years ago, straight into cars, no karting experience at all. So she is doing very well. And I feel like a lot of people love to sort of say, oh, these female drivers in motorsports are however old, and so therefore it doesn't matter that they're doing well because they're so much older. But it's always about it's so much harder to get into motorsports as a woman. And so
Yeah,
often you will be older in a feeder series because it just takes that much more time, but that's not a bad thing. Just because you're older doesn't mean you have more experience. It's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles, with funding and sponsors, etc., etc.
yeah. I mean, she's not that old. She's 20.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like,
um, and okay, so Neve's also saying she was also a champion skier and won stuff in show jumping, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so this might have actually been like wasn't always doing it from young age, did other things, and then got interested in it, and now she's doing her thing. Congrats to her. And I just think it shows that the sort of angle of F1 Academy, in giving these women, or in some cases girls, because they are quite young, but giving them all the opportunity to show what they can do so they can learn, but also showcase their abilities and go on to do better things in other series is fantastic. And I will sing the praises of Susie Wolf until I am blue in the face, because
yes,
she has done a fantastic thing for women in motorsports. Thank you.
beautiful.
Okay. Also, if you happen to look at the, I know we kind of mentioned it, but like if you look at the thumbnail, Nicole Piastri finally met her hero, Yuki Tsunoda, her favorite F1 driver. So happy for her. A little bit jealous, not going to lie. But yes, wonderful, wonderful weekend for Nicole. I think she might be
Definitely
related
the
to
the
Oscar, like
highlight.
a vague family relationship there, I
Yeah,
think.
the highlight of her weekend is definitely meeting Yuki.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing
Absolutely.
else big happened. I think I can't
No,
recall.
no. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who really cares?
Just write it off after the Friday.
Yeah.
Like,
So, but yes, lovely, lovely, lovely. We love Nicole Piastri here at Traffic Paradise Radio. So thank you, Nicole, for posting those lovely photos of you and Yuki. Although I don't think she actually posted them. I think Red Bull posted them or Formula One posted them. But anyway, thank you to all involved in making that happen, because it was wonderful. But yeah, that's all from us. Immy, when are we back again?
Wednesday or Thursday. It depends.
Wednesday or Thursday. Ooh, I think Wednesday
Keep
would be
your
better. But
probably. I mean, I asked, so give me an answer and I'll schedule it.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
No,
Wednesday. You heard it
then
here
I can
first.
do an edit and I can put it up on Thursday as like a video, and then we
I feel
still
like
get
your
it.
lighting makes you look kind of yellow.
It is this. It's a very bad lighting. Everything is bad here. It's bad. Bad internet. Bad lighting. Bad computer.
You're like
Bad airline. That's
you're
why wear the hat.
matching
You know,
the color of the background right now.
No, it doesn't matter where I sit. I just look yellow. It makes no difference. No difference. Also, like, I mean, if you actually look at I don't know if you can see it, but it's literally yellow. So, like, the light
where are you?
I'm in my house.
Why does it look like that?
I don't know what part you
I
saw.
feel like I've seen more homey looking sections of your house. That looks like you were like perched behind a desk in a classroom. That section, yeah.
Homey part of house.
That's the homey section of your house.
Yeah, that's the homey part of the house. That's the homey section of my house. This is my bed.
Oh.
This is how beds. It's like super high up. It's like a meter off the ground.
It's very sturdy looking.
You have to like climb steps to get up there. This is just how they make the houses here. I don't understand why. But yes, it is how it is.
Okay.
So, yes.
Luca said, did you see the Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg photo of when they were kids?
Yeah, I think they were on like a little quad bike.
Yeah, I went on a quad bike for the first time like a week ago. Scariest thing I've ever done. Do not be a passenger on a quad bike. It's horrifying.
I once crashed on a quad bike.
Ugh.
Rolled it. I felt like the thing landed almost on top of me, and for some miracle, I ended up being curled up in a ball, and like, you know, like the bit that's like where your legs go, that's like sort of concave, like that bit landed on me, so I was actually fine, but like I could have seriously been like injured, yeah. And then the little shit who owned the quad bike was shouting at me because I crashed the bike. I'm like, bro, I nearly died. Like, just like, can you like chill the fuck out, please? So yes.
Yeah.
Neve says she crashed in karting yesterday and took my best friend out as well. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Beautiful.
Done. Yes. Okay. So that is all from us. We're almost hitting an hour and 10 minutes. So from everyone here at Traffic Paradise Radio, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave us a like. Think about subscribing so you don't miss out on our Wednesday video, where we will talk about the upcoming Hungarian Grand Prix at the Hungaroring. My favorite race of the year since 2006, without a doubt. And if you want to know why, it's because that was Jenson Button's first win. Team 22, let's go. So thank you, everyone. Again, thank you, Immy, for coming back to us after your many adventures over the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, and almost all the way to the Pacific Ocean, I believe. So, yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Yeah. There you go. So, yeah. Thank you, Loka. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Neve. I hope I didn't forget anyone. But thank you all for joining us. And the road out of Spa and heading towards Hungary, all those things is open and closed. And let's just go. Okay. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day and night. Bye-bye.
Bye.